Welcome to the Pima County Sports Hall of Fame class of 2023. This year we have 12 inductees and 2 teams. The 2 teams are the 1973 Cactus Little League team coached by Ralph Klanick and the 1990 Salpointe girls team coached by Coach Pompanito. Our inductees are Todd Wiedenbauer, Todd Holthaus, Tyler DeBerry, Carla Garrett, Rich Hall, Jeff Kiewel, Willie Morales, Ashley Monceaux, Stacy Redondo, Santa Cruz, Marty Parker, Heather Moore, Dan Hicks. Dan Hicks just can't make it. He'll be at the banquet. Tyler DeBerry has jury duty. Willie Morales is out of town. So everybody else is here. So let's get this thing going. All right. Let's get the first one up. Heather Martin. Where's Heather? You know, when I've been doing this a long time, and you get names of people, then you realize what they've done. You think, well, man, it's amazing. That was impressive with your career. She coached Catalina boys team to back-to-back state championships, 2010, 2011. She then moved to Salpointe and girls volleyball and has won 6 more state championships, including the last 3 beach volleyball champions, 2021, 2022, and 2023, with a combined record of 50-0. Okay? That gives her 8 state championships in the last 13 years. It's up to be the only coach in Arizona history to coach both girls and boys teams to state championships. She played for Hall of Famer Mary Hines in the 1980s. So come over here, let's talk about this now, okay? That's amazing. Look, is beach volleyball the big thing down high schools?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. Yeah, I mean, Arizona was the first state to have beach volleyball, and now it's in California, and I think it's kind of moving across the country. But it is the fastest growing NCAA sport.
So how much sand is around? Is it a big area around for the sand?
It is a big area. I think they require about 9 feet outside of the sand court itself for safety. But yeah, we play at our home court is the Tucson Racket Club. But you know, I've seen people kind of have courts at parks and different places just so they get the sport going.
So Mary Hines was kind of a legend, wasn't she?
Oh, indeed.
In basketball or volleyball? Both?
Girls volleyball.
At Catalina.
At Catalina, but Mary competed for the University of Arizona in a multitude of sports, and she, you know, really set the tone for women and competition. I mean, she was a champion, a synchronized swimmer, among other sports that she played.
But a record of 50-0?
Well, I'm not sure what that one is, which record that one is, but beach volleyball, we actually are 76-0, so we have got a target on our back.
So there's a lot of diving around in beach volleyball.
There is. There is.
And that's a big thing now for colleges too?
College as well, yep, for sure. The University of Arizona has a really good volleyball team, and Arizona State, basically all over the country.
So what do you do with all your trophies?
Salpointe keeps them. They're in Salpointe's chest of many, many state championships.
Okay, all right. Well, listen, we look forward to seeing you at our banquet.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for your time.
Okay. All right, let's get Vosberg up here. Cactus Little League. Where is he? All right. You know, I played in Cactus Little League. But when I played it was a long time ago, and we played where the zoo is now. There was no fence in the outfield, just chalk, and 2 dads would be on right center, left center. If it went over the line, they'd do this, otherwise it'd be a double. And we had these wraparound helmets, you know, like 2 or 3 bats, stuff like that. And you guys came in at 73. You played at Freedom Park.
We played it was called Eastland Park. It was over there near the corner of Columbus and 22nd. And sadly, the park's not there anymore as far as the baseball field is. The following year, we hosted the playoffs, because obviously we went to the World Series in '73, and we had lights, and we actually came really close to going back-to-back to the Little League World Series. But we have some members here of our team, you know, Mike Carrion, Mark Osborne, David Meese, Gerard Paiso. You know, we were like a family. We owe a lot of our credit to a great coach by the name of Ralph Klanick, who was, he was, back in the day, he was tough, and he always had the best team, and he was kind of a yeller, but which I don't think you can get away with today's day and age. But he had the great ability to praise, and so it was an honor to play for him. And you know, we were fortunate. We played some really close games along the way, and you know, little did we know we were in the championship game against a team from Taiwan, and you know, we held our own for 3 innings, and then Taiwan ended up swinging the bat like they knew how, and we ended up losing that game. But we were the best team in the United States. It was quite a thrill.
So that Taiwan team, they didn't allow a hit or a run the whole time they're there?
3 no-hitters, 1 perfect game. So the following year they were banned from playing because of all the discrepancy in the ages. But interesting, Coach Lanik didn't want us to get intimidated, so he wouldn't let us go watch these kids play because they had beat a team from Florida 27-0, which Doc Gooden happened to be in that Little League, but he was, I think, a 10-year-old, and Gary Sheffield as well. But yeah, we had so much fun, and it's great to reminisce with all of our teammates that are here.
You got a no-hitter too in that, right?
I threw a 1-hitter, had a no-hitter until the last inning, but gave up 1 hit against a team from Michigan.
Okay, how does this work now? You were Cactus Little League. Your all-star team, did you have to play other Tucson teams to move up, or you just, how'd that, did you go to California, or how'd that go?
We had to win 3 games here in Tucson, and then I think we won 3 in the state tournament, and then we went on to the regionals and had to win 4. So back then it was single elimination, really, really tough to get through. We had a couple really tough games that we had to win. You know, Mike Fimbers, who I think was going to be here, he threw a perfect game against Hawaii. I was able to pitch a no-hitter in the state tournament, but we had incredible catcher Gerard Paisa, you know, and Ralph Lanik was such a stickler on fundamentals, kind of like my coach Jerry Stitt, who's here. But we caught the ball. We had great defense. Mark Osborne was a vacuum at third, and you know, we had David played second. Gerard was a great catcher. We had really a talented team with, you know, I was taught the curveball at 11, and it was a pretty good pitch, and Little Leaguers had tough hitting that.
What was it like playing in Williamsport?
Like I was telling the reporter earlier, it was amazing to see 30,000 people at the final game. Most of them were from Taiwan. But it was incredible just the magnitude. You know, you see it's really awesome to watch the spectacle now and you know, to see how big Little League World Series has become. You know, back then, we never even saw the game until I was able to get a copy of it. And then we were reminisced about how great that Taiwan pitcher was. But it was just an incredible, it's hard to believe it's been 50 years.
How was that first airplane ride?
It was a lot of fun. I mean, I think most of us had never been on an airplane and been out of Arizona. So it was surreal to go to Williamsport and see all the green and the trees, and you know, we all know that Tucson can be a little bit brown, but it was pretty exciting to get on that plane.
And coming back to Tucson, the crowd.
There was 3,000 people to greet us at the airport, and we were shocked because, you know, we didn't realize that you know, our team had, you know, developed, you know, people had developed this love of following our team, and you know, it was really cool. We still have a lot of great memories that we reminisce about.
Okay, well, great. We'll see you
Okay.
at the banquet.
Thank you so much. All right, Ben.
Okay. Then we got Salpointe girls soccer. You were here for that? Okay, there. You couldn't make it, I guess. You had jury duty or something? Okay. Anyway, right. Okay, Willie Morales couldn't make it today. Carla Garrett. Is Carla here? All right. Carla is a Salpointe grad, also PCC grad. No, Salpointe, huh?
I'm not a Salpointe grad.
Don't talk about that. No, okay.
No,
Okay.
I'm not. I'm from
Okay.
New Mexico.
You're in the U of A Sports Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, sorry.
What's that like being inducted like that?
I've been very, very fortunate to have worked very, very hard and got some accomplishments and goals that I achieved.
So you have NCAA shot put and discus titles, national titles.
Yes, sir.
Well, just got more than that. Come on, let's go. That's impressive.
Well, I was a 10-time All-American at the U of A. I was a 3-time national champion while I was an athlete there. I became a strength coach there for 7 or 8 years, and I won a couple of national championships with Coach Kendra.
And 1992 in Barcelona in the discus, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. One of the most amazing things that's ever happened to me.
What's it like throwing a discus like that far?
It's pretty amazing if you watch it. It's pretty amazing. You can't imagine the power and the force that it takes to propel a discus that far.
Something like a frisbee and all like that. Then.
Oh no, it weighs 2 pounds, and you don't do it this way.
So in 1991-93, you had World Championship to the heavyweight division. You got that?
Yes, I used to compete in Olympic-style weightlifting, and at that time, the highest level that you could achieve was the World Championships. And so I have 5 silver medals and 1 bronze medal from the World Championships.
And you're still the Salpointe and Pima College strength and conditioning coach?
I am still at Salpointe, but I don't work with Coach Holthaus anymore. I do work with Coach Moore, but I've been very, very fortunate to have been blessed to work with Coach Holthaus for almost 10 years. I used to work for Rocky LaRose. So, I mean, I look around this room and there's a lot of people. I coached with Mr. Redondo's daughter, Stacy. So there's a lot of people in this room that are very, very familiar to me.
So you have, so you push them hard, right?
Oh, I have a very high level of expectation, yes. And I think if you ask anybody that's trained with me, they understand that.
All right. And you are in the Coaches Association Hall of Fame and United States Weightlifting Hall of Fame.
I am also in the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame. So to be bluntly honest, this is my 5th Hall of Fame nomination.
So how many, where do you put all your trophies?
Oh, I keep them in my car so I can show them at any moment.
You take them over and say, this is what I've done, huh?
Yeah, well, I just open the door and they fall out.
You don't hurt yourself picking them up, do you?
No, I gotta get back.
Okay. Well, thank you. We'll see you at the bank.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Rich Hall. Where's Rich Hall? I want to meet him. Now, where are you from? What was it? Antioch High School?
Antioch, California.
Okay.
Antioch.
All right. You got a scholarship to U of A and a 3-year letterman, 1973 to 75.
Yep. Yes.
What was it like going to you? Who was the coach there?
Jim Young. Jim Young was the head coach at the time. Yes.
He pushed you pretty good, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
So you played under him. They had a good season when he was there too.
Yeah, we were 9-2, 8-3, and 9-2, and never went to a bowl game. Never went to a bowl game, and that's how basically the bowl in Phoenix was started, because both us and ASU would be those records, and we never went to a bowl game.
And you played against Frank Kush.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't realize. Well, I was talking a while back. I was interviewing him. He passed away, of course. But he said the worst thing about coming to the U of A was the U of A band was right behind their bench, and they played Bear Down, Arizona all the time. You couldn't hear anything.
Well, I don't remember, but now, of course, they're on the southeast corner.
Right,
but on the field, you don't notice the band. So
now you got a style. You play football at the U of A. When did you decide I want to be an official?
All right. So anyway, I had it was at the end of my season, and I was hurt, and a guy by the name of Boyd Baker came up to me and said, "You want to stay with football?" And I said, "I don't want to coach." Well, he was involved in a local high school officiating. He said, "You want to officiate?" I said, all right. He said, show up at this date at this time. I did, and the rest is history. I've been officiating for 48 years, and I tell you, the very first play I ever officiated was at Santa Rita High School. I had just obviously played defense at the U of A. I was the umpire. Very first play, I see the right guard pull, so I knew there was coming down. It's going to be a trap play. I stepped up to the hole and I hit the running back, and I tackled the running back, and I was the referee. It took me about a year to figure out I was not playing anymore.
So how did you get up the NFL like that?
Well, what you start doing is I tried to get into small college, a junior college rank. Jim Fogeltantz was a great mentor to me. I would come down to U of A and I would do their scrimmages, and you start working your way up, you start applying. And it was very tough here in southern Arizona because we only had NAU. And I got into the Big Sky in '85, had about 6 games. I worked 15 years in the Big Sky, and in 15 years I had 14 playoff games. And then I worked my way into the Mountain West Conference. I worked 8 years in NFL Europe and 18 years in the NFL.
And you had officiated 57 preseason NFL games,
Yep.
258 regular season games,
Yep.
and 12 playoff games.
That's correct. I had 3 NFC championship games. The biggest one, the first one was in 2007. I had New Orleans at Chicago. And that's the famous, if you open up the Sports Illustrated in the middle, there's a huge picture of me, just right with the running back crossing the goal line. And all you do, the whole focus on the picture is me in it.
Really? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I have a big picture of it in my office.
So, okay, you're playing it, you make a penalty on someone, the guy gets mad. Is he gonna try to run by you really quick, close, or what?
I'll tell you what, this when we were on the defensive side of the ball, I'll tell you what, I know there was a tight end came across, I was at Kansas City, and I know he hit me on purpose. I'm still flying through the air. He hit me so hard, I'll tell you what. And they would run by you with their flipper and knock. But now being on the offensive side of the ball, your chance of getting hit were less, the chance. But I got my rear end kicked a couple of times just flying through the air. Oh yes, absolutely. And the other issue was the pass over the middle, and trying to duck out of the way with that pass over the middle. Oh yeah.
So do you watch film too before the games?
Absolutely. In fact, I do high school. So I retired in 2021, and several of my buddies here locally said, why don't you come back and do high school, which I'm doing now. I have my own crew, and I spend a lot of time watching film, yes.
And 2016 AFC title game between Denver and New England. Talk about that a little bit.
That was where, I'll tell you where Denver's defense Brady didn't have a chance. That was an unbelievable game. I'll tell you what, the defense just manhandled Brady that game. He didn't have a chance to throw the ball at all. It was amazing.
Okay, well, thank you. And
All right,
we'll see you at the bank.
All right, thank you so much.
Tyler DeBerry could not be here today. He had jury duty or something. I don't know. And Dan Hicks will be here for the banquet, but obviously, Sabino High School, U of A, KBOA, lead play-by-play host in NFL and NBA, and so he'll be here. And then we talked. Let's get Stacy Redondo, her dad is coming up here. All right. How you doing?
Good.
Okay, good. Good to have you here. Yeah.
Thank you.
As many of you know, Stacy passed away earlier this year, and she was a great player. I was going to talk about that with her, with him. She had a big-time arm, didn't she?
Yeah, she was quite a good athlete.
And you ever play catch with her?
Yeah, she had a cannon for an arm. And, I used to complain to Mike Condrea that why didn't you give her a shot at shortstop? And he said, I want a whole team full of shortstops.
Yeah.
And when she was playing, she played in the outfield, and she gunned them down. And the other coaches would say, don't run on that outfielder. And because she threw 3 players out at home and 3 of them out at third base from right field. And then when she was in left field, she was just dominant.
Yeah.
And she was a good player. She was a good person. She was a great teacher. She's in the Ross Scrooge Hall of Fame, posthumously. But she was just the life of the party. She'd walk in and you'd say, okay, I'm here, the party can start. That's who she was.
Now, she was part of the Mike Condrea 1991-1993 NCAA championship teams.
That's correct, national.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, she was a key part of that. She made the All-World Series in the '93 team. She batted something like 600. And she was the number 9 batter because Mike would say he wanted a leadoff batter at the bottom of the lineup so he could set it up for the top of the lineup. And she had a fantastic game. She was one where she learned some lessons. She tried to slide against Long Beach State the year before, and they was a pretty heavy catcher that blocked the plate. And so she got nailed. So the championship game, they had Stacy Newman, who's a pretty good-sized catcher for UCLA, and she slid to the outside and just swept her hand over the plate to score the run. So she learned,
Well, she played 83 games with Wildcats, 1991 championship team, too.
Yes, she played a lot. She was an all-star in Little League in both the majors and the seniors, and then she won a couple of national championships after the U of A with the women's teams. So she was quite an accomplished athlete.
And then coaching, she was assistant coach at Salpointe, then became the head coach there.
Yeah, when she brought the culture to the Salpointe softball team, they had a good team, but they didn't have the discipline. And she actually started coaching the JV team with her then husband, and then she was brought up to the varsity as the assistant coach, and they won the state championship. And one of the things she did later, when she was hired, she took time off. She had been married and had kids, and she took some time off. They hired her back, and one of the first things she did was hire Carla Garrett to train the softball athletes, because Carla would, and I'm going to divert a little bit, but she programs for what sport you have. You know, I don't know if you mentioned, but she was the weight trainer at the U of A football team. I mean, this is incredible. But anyway, Stacy had a lot of respect for her because she had coached at the U of A softball, so she knew what she would bring to the table. But Stacy was she was a good person and a really good athlete, and she was a good coach. She was almost too competitive at times as a coach, but she would show it. She wore her emotions on the sleeve, and if you disappointed her, you'd know it. As a coach, as a player, she was competitive as heck too. But she didn't like to lose.
And last spring, they had a moment of silence was held at Hildebrandt Stadium before a game against Oregon State.
Unfortunately, on April 7th, she had a stroke and a brain bleed. She's 52 years old, full of life, and you know, she worked out at the gym a couple of times. We'd work out together, and she was just an amazing person. But you know, God has a plan, and sometimes He just doesn't let us know what it is, and we have to deal with it. You know, because it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. What can I tell you?
Okay. I think you've come up here. We'll see you today.
Thank you.
So we had Rich Hall here already, and Carla Garrett, strength coach, helped him. Willie Morales can't make it. Let me see where you're at now. The girls' soccer team, they're here, right? They already came, right? They done that one? Girls' soccer, Salpointe team? No? Okay. All right. Not here. Okay. Let's move it along here, guys. Okay. Marty Parker. All right. Good Marty, my man here. Man. Man, all the things you've done, huh?
I guess so. It's just part of the, you know, you get into a sport and you try to do the best you can.
Mm-hmm. And you played, a varsity letter winner at Ampi High School, and you're at Ampi a lot, right? I mean, you coached there too, Sol?
Well, I also coached at AFI for 10 years as an assistant under Dave Cactus.
And you've done a lot of things. You've been in England. Did you get honored by the Queen or something?
No, I did not by the Queen. I was a part of the national coaching staff for the U.S. team. Mm-hmm. And that was just right after I retired in 1996.
And so you're still out there though, right?
Yeah, I am. I haven't been coaching since 19 because I got in a bad car accident. It broke my neck and my back. So that's what ended up putting me in the chair. But I've just been trying to get back on my feet. I just had, unfortunately, my coach, the person that nominated me for this, he had to write all that down for me because I was just having a major back and neck reconstruction. So he was very kind of doing that.
Okay. And you're on the Rose Bowl parade too.
Rose Bowl parade?
That's right, Daddy, right. Rose Bowl parade, Grand Marshal.
I don't know. That must have been something there that they voted. I don't know. We didn't do the Rose Bowl parade. That's kind of interesting. So what? I didn't read that one.
It wasn't. Well, if it's good, you know, if it's wrong, if it's wrong, it's good. What the heck? Let's do it. So anyway, so you're still out there, you know, helping young kids, right?
I most definitely. Unfortunately, I didn't know what I was going to get into coaching. Mm-hmm. It was Dave that said, "Hey, Marty, you got a really good personality and you're good with people, so I think you'd be a good teacher." Well, being that he used to have students come from U of A to get coached by him and learn how to be coaches. So I learned from him, and I just kept my mouth shut, had 2 ears and a brain, and used it. So you know, 40, it will be 40 years, it was 40 years in May that I started my coaching career. And, you know, so I was coaching high school, SAAA, USA swimming, as well as why I was swimming for the, you know, Paralympics. So.
All right. Well, we'll see you at the banquet, right? Okay, good.
Thank you very much.
Okay, no problem. My next inductee is Jeff Kiewel. Now, I'm going to say something, I know something about Jeff that he has no idea I know about. Well, okay, when my wife was in high school, she was friends with one of your sisters.
Is that right?
Yes, and she went on a camping trip with you guys.
Is that
Right,
right?
yeah.
Well, I'm sorry about that.
And on that camping trip, you lit my wife's pants on fire.
That sounds like me. That sounds like me. Which sister, do you know?
Judy. Oh, I don't know which one of your sisters.
That's one of my sisters,
Yeah,
you know?
she just said that she knew your sister, and they went on a camping trip together. You lit her pants on fire.
I might have.
Okay, yeah.
I might have.
Okay. Now, you're at Salpointe, Savino High School. You got a scholarship to U of A.
I did.
And any other schools you were interested in?
You know, I wasn't very heavily recruited by Division I, some Ivy League schools, because I did well in school. ASU showed some interest, but honestly, Tony Mason offered me a scholarship, and I was delighted to play in my hometown.
And Savino has some good teams back there, right?
No. They went on to have some good teams. So probably one of the best experiences of my life started out as one of the worst experiences of my life. So I never played football before at all. I was a baseball guy. And I have to say this, you know, I remember watching that game with my dad, that final game. Unbelievable. Cheering in the house, crying in the house. There was lots of stuff. It was terrific. We lost 26 games in a row. I started playing as a freshman, was on the varsity as a sophomore. We lost every game for 3 years. And then Ollie Mayfield came from Tucson High, and we went 7-3 and made the playoffs. And it was, you know, we started the season with 24 people on the active roster. 24. That's hard to have a practice with 24 guys, let alone play. And we won 7 games and kind of changed, you know, allowed Sabino, which was a newer high school, to think that, well, you know, maybe we can do something. So great bunch of guys that have been there with grit, survived that 3 years. So Sabino did not have a good program. We had a good year. There were several guys that went on to play college ball out of that crew. It was at least for a while, and it was something.
And you played for Larry Smith.
I did. Started with Tony Mason, and Tony, I don't know if you recall, but Tony liked to write OK recruiting on the airline tickets he bought for players. And it turns out you can't do that. So Larry Smith came in, you know, and this, I like to tell the story. I'm sorry, I don't get up in front very much, so I'm going to take up everyone's time.
You're fine, keep going.
You know, now when a coach changes, you have, you know, extensive searches, you have hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions spent. Well, they called us in the middle of spring ball and said, Tony's out. We had been through 2 weeks of spring ball, not quite 2 weeks of spring ball. Tony's out. 3 or 4 weeks later, I can't remember, Greg, you might remember this better than me, but Larry Smith was hired and we finished spring ball. And that's where, in Larry's scheme, the type of player I was more valuable than in Mason's scheme. And so I went from, you know, a redshirt sophomore on scout team to the starting right guard. And then I was lucky enough to play on some pretty good teams with some pretty good players around me, and we had some success. Fortunately, even though the odds of being in a bowl game were better then than when young, not as good as now, but better. We were on probation, so we didn't get to do any postseason play. But we were kind of giant killers, and we had a good group of guys, sort of blue collar. Larry had a blue collar, hard work ethic, and pretty tight group. It was a lot of fun. I was fortunate to be a part of it.
So 1982, you guys beat ASU, right? Kept out the Rose Bowl.
We did. That team, that squad had a lot of big games. So we beat Notre Dame. We beat USC in LA when they were ranked #1 in the country. And then, of course, there's just the sweetest games that I can remember winning were all against ASU. And it's fitting because the most bitter I am about losses are against the same guys. So.
And you get drafted by Atlanta.
I didn't. I didn't get drafted. I joined the USFL out of school, and I was, it's one of the reasons that this is so meaningful for me. You know, I was a hometown boy going to play for a new hometown team in Phoenix. It's spring ball. And that didn't last but a couple of years, and then I joined the Falcons as a free agent, and then played 3 years for them.
And you played for Houston Gamblers too?
Yeah, briefly. I was in camp and was playing for them, and then that was about the time when they didn't like how much they were paying people, and so I had a pretty good contract, and they decided that they didn't want to pay me the contract, and I said, well, okay, just release me, I'll be all right. And so I went home. You know, it's a long drive in the middle of the night from Houston to Tucson. But I got back, and 10 days later, I was with the Falcons.
Congratulations. Okay, good.
It was great. Thanks for having me.
Tom Wiedenbauer. Where's Tom? I saw Tom? Yes. Hey, it's nice to meet you, man. It's been a while, huh? Jeez. I haven't seen you all the time. Never. So Swirl High School, played football and baseball, drafted by the Astros out of high school. You started your career in Covington, right?
Yeah, Covington, Virginia. So left Tucson, 17 years old, flew to Covington, Virginia. I just remember the story because a guy named J.D. Schluter was working for the organization, and he picked me up at Tri-Cities Airport in Tennessee and drove through the mountains of Virginia. I'm from Tucson now. Drove through the mountains of Virginia at about 90 to 100 miles an hour.
That's a J.D., yes.
Yeah, it was scary.
So I played my first season in rookie league in Covington Astros.
That's right.
And they had a paper mill right there that didn't smell very good, did it? No?
Yeah, you wake up in your hotel room every morning. The hotel rooms back then had the louver windows, so you roll them to close them, and they were on the windows and on the doors, and any odors could come in there in that paper mill. If the wind was blowing the wrong way, that's what you woke up to every day.
And when you're in that league, you're playing all these other small towns and an old broken down bus driving around. That's not easy life.
No, if you've seen the movie Major League, multiply that by about 10 back then. It was get on the bus, open the windows, strip down to your underwear, climb up in the luggage rack, just find any way you could to get comfortable.
But the people there were pretty nice. You know, there was a couple of restaurant guys, you know, give you free breakfast, something like that.
Yeah, that's the great thing about lower level minor league baseball. There's always people there. There's always support.
So you're with the Astros now. You were a player, a minor league coach, manager, roving instructor, minor league field coordinator. That's a lot. You know about traveling around, don't you then?
Yes. I'm still traveling quite a bit. So yeah, I spent 35 years with Houston. Did a few things, as you mentioned there. I've been with Cleveland now for the last 13 years, and still traveling. So I live in Florida, and I work in Cleveland, and I'm in Tucson.
So you knew Bob Lillis then, right? Bob Lillis.
Yes. Bob Lillis was our manager in Houston after Bill Burton. Yeah.
So you know him, and then Houston had some really good players, good coaches too. Really, Pat Gillick was there. I think it was either a scout or a general manager, something like that.
Yeah, he was a scout. I think he he might have been a general manager before I got there. But yeah, we had some good teams there, like good groups of guys. It was a lot of fun.
You know, the Astrodome, the old Astrodome, you played there, right? You were in there a lot. And so I hadn't been to the Astrodome my rookie year. And so it was a long walk from the dugout back to the training room, the room, the clubhouse. And it was like dirt, and you had to go like woods, planks, and all that through there. So the game, you know, everyone's getting ready to go. And I didn't know how to get down to the field. And the first thing we do, I'm not going to ask anybody how to get in the field. They'd be on me, they'd be all over me. So I see Joe Morgan. He's got his bat and his, you know, all ready to go, his glove. And I start following him, and I follow him into the restroom. And he said, you have no idea how to get down there, do you? No, don't stay in here. I'll wait for me outside.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to hear any more about that one.
But you know, Bob Cluck, too. Bob Cluck was there. He was going to coaches, too.
Yeah, Bob Cluck was there for a long time before he left and went to San Diego. Yeah, it's a good group.
You know, coming up with Houston, they had great scouts, really good scouts. And I mean, you can share this with you, too. Their goal was, they say, if you go down the rookie league, you struggle, we're going to stick with you, okay? We want you to get used to it. And I get traded to Cincinnati, and they're saying, if you struggle, we're going to send you down. We're not going to put up with you struggling. We're going to move you from place where you can play. And I think that's what Houston, they had good talent.
Well, I certainly benefited, I think, from that process because I did struggle. I think I hit 207 that year in Covington, which was back in the day when nobody hit 207. But the interesting story, the scout that signed me, John Miller, is from Phoenix. I guess he at some point saw me play down here in Tucson. I'd never met him until about 10 years ago, which in today's world would never happen, but just the way things happened back then. You're drafted, you go to your team, and you sign your contract there. Just strange that I had not ever met the man until about 10 years ago.
He's the scout that signed me.
Was that right?
Yeah.
Well, he was 1 for 2 then.
Yeah, we were playing a game down, we have a semi-pro team, we were playing at a park, just in that park in Phoenix. And I didn't realize we played against the Phoenix College team. And so I was pitching that night, and it was really hot out, and I was getting a drink outside the dugout, and I saw there was a guy on the other side of the drinking fountain. I look, he's just staring at me. Who the heck are you? And he said, I'm John Miller, a scout with the Astros. And you know, he was in a lot of land, a lot of real estate too, with John.
Yeah,
Miller,
I think he was retired by the time I met him. I remember we were up in Phoenix at a fall league game, and Tal Smith, who had been with Houston forever, made sure that we connected and introduced me to him.
And you know Jack Billy now too.
Jack, yeah. So Jack actually lives down by me now, in Florida. He was a pitching coach in our organization with Houston after his days with you in Cincinnati. Really, really good person.
Yeah. Well, good. Thanks for coming. Nice meeting you. It's been a long time. I'm thinking we meet you sometime, you know? Okay, good. Okay. Now, Salpointe girls, guy couldn't make it. I don't think coach couldn't make it. Is that right? You had something else going on, something like that there. So I think, am I missing anybody now? Oh, good. All right. Okay. That's right. Told Mr. Holthaus. I have not mentioned before. I know a lot of good things about you. One thing, you're big too.
Yeah, I'm big.
Yeah.
It's one thing I've been told. I've been big.
Grand Canyon College. Did you play basketball there too?
Yeah, I started off. I grew up in Iowa, and I played junior college ball at Waldorf College, and then got a scholarship to end up at Grand Canyon University back before it's been exploded to all these buildings that it is now. I don't think any of the buildings that I went to school in or played in exist anymore, but that's how I ended up in Arizona. I thought I would play a couple years there and probably go back to Iowa. That didn't happen. I ended up staying in Phoenix for a couple years. Then I met my wife, who was a Wildcat, and somehow made my way down to Tucson and been here ever since.
So how'd you go to Pima Community College? How'd that start?
Well, I coached, when I first got to Tucson, I tried to get on Dave Verdugo's boys basketball staff. And he had no positions available. So the only thing available was Mark Lumley had a JV girls job, and I said, I'll take it, just so I could coach, thinking I'll do that for a couple years and then I'll get over to the boys side. Well, I was a JV coach for 1 year, and then Dr. Karen Blair gave me the opportunity to be the varsity coach at Flowing Wells, so I did that for 7 years. And then I was at the U of A under Joan Bonancini for 2 years, and Rocky was there. And then I had 4 little kids at the time. Pima was hiring a new coach. I was always gone, so I figured this was a great opportunity to still coach, make a lot less money, but still be around and see if we could do something at Pima. And it's been 17 years now, so it's been a lot of fun.
And you hired Jim Rosborough.
Yeah, he came begging, and I said, well, let me think about it for a little bit. And no. Roz, when he got done with his coaching stint at the U of A, he literally came by the gym one day in December, just showed up and watched practice for a little bit, and then pulled me to the side and he said, Todd, I don't want to interrupt anything you're doing, but if you don't mind me coming to practice. I'm like, Roz, come on, you're Roz. So he came to practice for the rest of that semester, and then we worked it out so that he would be around full-time as an assistant. It's been almost 10 years now.
And 16 years at Pima College.
Yeah, this is my 17th. Yep, we're starting my 17th year.
That's amazing, huh? That's great.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it because everybody always asks, are you going to move on? Are you looking to? And I really enjoy the junior college ranks, I guess, because I was a JUCO kid myself, and I just see the importance in kids needing a couple years to develop, or didn't get a chance, or a look that they maybe should have gotten in high school. So I've enjoyed that opportunity.
So when you're coaching at Pima, you play other schools at junior college up in the Phoenix area too? Or?
Yeah, we're part of the ASAC, which is 12. There's 12 conference basketball teams. So we have a 22-game conference schedule, and then we have 8 non-conference because we're allowed 30. So we play any other JUCO we can. We go to a few tournaments. I try to schedule as hard as possible so that we're battle tested by playoffs.
So 16 years at Pima College and 7 NJCA national appearances.
Yeah, I got good players and good coaches.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's fun. I don't like to lose. I'm a nice guy off the court, but I'm pretty competitive when it comes to being on the court. But I just feel like if you get the right chemistry and the right kids, you can be successful. And then for junior college, we're turning over basically half our roster every year. So to remain consistent, I think, is probably the thing I'm proudest of. Just every year we're in the mix, and I think of the 16 years that I've been at Pima, we've played in the region championship game 14 of the 16. So we're always right there knocking on the door.
Do you have good facilities there at Pima College too?
Yes, they've gotten better over the years. I think anybody who coaches at Pima makes the best of what we have. We don't whine and complain about a lot of things. Over the years, it's gotten so much better. I'm proud of that fact. Us as coaches are pretty invested in taking care of our facilities. I'm sure Adia doesn't sweep the floor every day, but I enjoy sweeping the floor every day and doing those little things like that. So I think that's just the mindset you have when you're a junior college coach.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yep, thank you. Yes, thank you.